So today we're going to talk about bearded dragons and giving them baths. Before I even put them in the water, though, I do check the temperature to make sure that it's around 95 degrees, and then you want to make sure that it doesn't fall below 85. So between 85 and 95 is a good temperature for them to stay at. Letting them sit in the water for a little bit first is also good, because then they can get the stuff loosened off that you need to clean off of them, and it'll just make it easier. You could use either a little towel to clean it. I've used wet paper towels before. If it's really bad, though, I'll use a toothbrush, and there are some really cheap toothbrushes you can get just for that purpose. And then if you really need to, you can toss it at the end. I know it's not the best for the environment, but it's something that doesn't happen very often. When you do run the bath, make sure that you put your hand in it and kind of think of how big your bearded dragon is. They shouldn't be able to dunk their head under the water because you don't want them to drown. That would be really awful. So I usually just put my hand in the water, and the water will probably be about, either a little bit above or a little bit below my hand. And then just kind of thinking about how big he is. I do also put a rock in the water, as you'll see in this video. That way, if he wants to sit on it, kind of steady himself. I've heard that bearded dragons don't really recognize water, that they might not necessarily see it very well, and it could kind of spook them. So the water kind of gives him an opportunity to steady himself and make sure that he's okay and doesn't freak out. So he's usually pretty good with baths. Not so good sometimes when he's getting cleaned, but when I do clean him, I'll lift up his tail, I'll clean his vent, I'll clean any part of him that's actually dirty that you can see. Don't use any soap or anything, it's just water. And then also, because he has pores, he's a male, they'll have the pores that you can see. I also like to clean that with the toothbrush as well, or a little towel. And make sure you rinse it off in between so that the toothbrush is getting clean. And then just, when it's either cooled down enough or you've done what you needed to do, get them out, kind of dab them dry. I always like to take special care to make sure that his ears are dry, so that no water sits in his ears. But one thing that I do want to stress is that it's really important that you don't leave them alone. You don't want them to have any issues with water. They can't really cough up water like we can. So if they inhale water, you could run the risk of them drowning. Some dragons might really enjoy the water. They might run around. They might kind of kick their tail around, look like they're trying to swim. And then some will not want anything to do with baths at all. So you could give them a bath every week if you want to. Some people say a couple times a week is okay. My dragon's very clean. I clean his terrarium whenever he goes to the bathroom. I'm able to take care of it immediately, and then I spot clean him. So he doesn't need baths super often, but having a bath once a week isn't a bad thing by any means. Just make sure it's not super long, 20 minutes, 25. Make sure the temperature's right and that their water's not too deep. Because even if they seem like they're able to swim and they're doing okay, it's not something that they normally do in the wild. And it's something that if something were to happen and they were to inhale water, you would feel pretty bad. Thanks for watching. Bye.